Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Whatever time zone you happen to be in, welcome to Leaders Worldwide Online Toastmasters Club. Our club mission, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leaders Worldwide is designed for politicians, business leaders, nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, as well as anyone who wants to make their message heartfelt and authentic. Core values, integrity, respect, service, and excellence. We are Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters, where leaders are made. And welcome, everybody. And here is our president, Rosemary Sweeney.
Good evening, or good afternoon, good day, and welcome to everyone here. We know the others are on their way, and those who cannot make it this evening because of one thing or the other, we pray that they find comfort in whatever they're going through right now to overcome the challenges posed. We know that challenges comes sometimes when we least expect. However, with a positive mindset and a great outlook for what is to come in a better way, we know our members are going to be fine and going to be all right. And those of us who are here take a comfort in us being here. Those of us who read the Bible, we hear that little is much when God is in it, and doesn't matter whether 2 or 3 people are gathered, he's here, and we are here to do what he says, study to show ourselves approved unto him. We are going to have a great meeting. Our Toastmaster for this evening is Toastmaster DeMarie, and we can give her a round of applause because she will soon be Distinguished Toastmaster DeMarie. She'll be joining the distinguished group of Toastmasters, and probably this is a chance for us to put our distinguishedness into practice and bring in others to see what we have to offer. So at this time, I call on our Toastmaster of the meeting. Let us make her feel welcome as she comes to the podium.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. I echo the sentiments of our President, Rosemary. Our theme for tonight's meeting is Summer Solstice, Extra Daylight. What are we going to do with that extra daylight, that extra time? Normally, there are all kinds of things that we think about. And the summer solstice is created when the Earth's axis tilts, and it tilts toward the sun, which means that you have more light than you normally would. The Earth is warmer because it's tilted toward the sun, and the day is longer. So we're going to look at some things that can happen with that extra time. But I want to enlist you to look at it through the lenses and eyes of a Toastmaster. What can you do with that extra time? Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting. And Toastmaster pass it on to me. As general evaluator, I have a team of role players who will assist me in carrying out my role. And this evening, our grammarian is Toastmaster Judith. I now call on her to introduce the word of the day and tell us about her function.
So the word of the day is prioritize, which we, I think, already know what the word is. So none of us need to explain the word. And as a grammarian, I'm going to look for some interesting phrases that the speakers will use say during their speeches, and then I will tell you all about this at the end of the meeting when I am called. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Judith, and our timer will be Toastmaster DeMarie.
As the timer, I'm going to make a valid attempt to do the timing. And our prepared speeches are all 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, you will see green. At 6 minutes, you will see yellow. And at 7 minutes, you will see red. And you will have 30 seconds in which to wrap up your speech. For table topics, it will be 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, you will see green. At 1.5 minutes, you will see yellow. And at 2 minutes, you will see red with 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. And then for our evaluators, it will be 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, you will see green. At 2.5 minutes, you will see yellow. And at 3 minutes, you will see red. And you will have 30 seconds in which to wrap up your speech. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. I thank my team so much. And we have heard that the word of the day is prioritize. And we know that Dimmer is going to give us some things to prioritize for the summer because we have this extra hour. I wish I was close to her because I do not have an extra hour. We do not we do not look at those things about the time or whatever. But it would be good for me to know what I can squeeze in within that time. And I will now return the virtual lectern to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Madam President. When we think about prioritizing things, that means put them in some type of chronological order, with most important things being first and then so forth. I have listed some phenomenal things that you can prioritize that relates to Toastmasters. There's pathways where you complete the levels and begin to acquire points for the OATM, or you're building up levels to receive that coveted Elite Triple Crown Award. And finally, and last but not least, in order to become a DTM, you have to complete pathways. So that's one of the things that we can do with our extra time if we're just that passionate and enthusiastic about our club. And let's hope that we are. We will have a table topic session today, and that person will be Carrie Kelly. But now I'd like to hear from evaluator number 1, who will introduce our first speaker. And our evaluator number 1 is Rosemary Sweeney.
This evening, Toastmaster Carrie will be presenting from the Writing a Speech with Purpose. And the purpose of the project is to learn or review basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose. And she's to present a well-organized speech on any topic. The notes to the evaluator, Toastmaster Kelly, will be completing this project. She will write a speech with purpose. The speech she creates must be well written and clearly focused. Her goal is to meet the express purpose statement with a well-executed speech. Toastmaster Kelly will present a well-organized, well-developed speech. The speech may be any style she chooses. It may be humorous, informational. However, it should not be the content and of what it is writing a speech with purpose or the project. So, Toastmaster Kelly, what's the title of your speech?
One Job.
One Job. Toastmaster Kelly will present to us One Job. One Job, Toastmaster Kelly.
One job. You've heard the saying, all you had to do was one job. I'm going to put that in perspective in terms of your deep desire to fulfill your own purpose in connection with the 4 elements of earth, which I will use this houseplant to demonstrate earth. Everything that this houseplant needs to grow and flourish is in the soil of this plant. This is the earth element where everything physical becomes a manifestation. Then the next element we have is water. Water can be the emotional realm. where the emotions that you have about a certain thing, like your life purpose, are very strong. And those emotions fuel the actions that you take. So when we're talking about actions, we're going to talk about fire. The fire realm. Oh, and the candle just went out. Okay. No, it's still lit. The fire. The flames are constantly in motion. It's constantly moving. And you constantly want to be moving in the direction of your life purpose. So those are going to happen with all of the actions that you take so that you can fulfill your life's purpose. The other thing is air. That is also one of the elements, the air realm. The air is the mental realm. Now, when it comes to this fan, wherever you focus this fan to give you the air, that's where the air is going to be. When it comes to your mental capacities, your mindset, or the way you think, you can either be focused, your mind can be focused on something, or you could be scattered. You've heard of the term scatterbrain, is because focus is lacking. Focus, I am not able to focus when I'm supposed to be meditating. My mind is everywhere except for on the meditation. So I don't focus well. But when it comes to my life purpose, I have one job. That one job to me is child abuse prevention. The emotions that fuel me to do that work started here in the heart. That's where it started. It was my heart's desire to make sure that children are safe. And all the physical things that I do to make that happen is the actions. Speaking is one of those actions. Putting on my one-woman show is one of those actions. Writing my books, one of those actions. Have I made a difference in somebody's life to prevent child abuse? I hope so. So we have the 4 elements: earth, water, air, fire, but we need one more thing that can tie them all together, and that is the source. The source is what makes the earth give the nutritional value to the plant. The source is what makes the rain fall, the ocean tides move according to the moon phases, the wind blow, like the gentle breezes or the gale force winds. And as for the fire, there is fire that burns. The burning desire to do something is what gives you the fuel to take the actions that you need to take. So, in closing, I will say that for everything that is needed for you to live your one purpose is earth, water, air, fire, and source. If you have all of that, you can live your one job, one purpose. The sun only has to shine. The rain only has to fall. The plant only has to grow. The wind only has to blow. But they all come together to make this beautiful thing that can benefit all of us. And we actually have all of those elements within us. We have the fire, that burning desire. We have the air, the mindset, the focus on the thing we want to do. We have the water, the emotions that fuel us to do the things we want to get done. And the earth realm is where we get it all done and make the difference and do the things that we are sent here to do. Thank you so much for your attention. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Wow. Thank you so very much for that very informational presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so very much. Can we have 1 minute on the clock, please? And I will begin the timing on that now. Our 1 minute is up. And now we will call on evaluator number 2, Carrie Kelly, as she introduces speaker number 2. Carrie, you have the floor.
Okay, so our second speaker is Rosalind Khan. Am I right? Uh-oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, and that's correct, Carrie.
Okay. So, unfortunately, I don't have the info for Rosalind, her speech title or anything, so I
I'll be
might
glad
have
to go ahead and I'll fill in for that because I do have the information.
Sorry?
I have the information if you want me to fill in for that.
Oh, that would be beautiful. Thank you.
Absolutely. So Rosalind is going to be speaking from Professional Speakers Level 1, giving a speech with purpose. And the title of her speech is Finding Direction. We all know Rosalind as a dynamic educator. She has been a TED Talk winner, and she is a staunch member of Leaders Worldwide. Without further ado, Rosalind Khan, Finding Direction. Finding Direction. Rosalind Khan, the floor is yours.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests and waitings. You know, as I sat and listened to Carrie's speech, I chuckled and chuckled and chuckled. And I said, boy, prioritize that one job. Oh my God, she must have had my cheat sheet on what I was going to go ahead and talk about. So I want to welcome you to my world. I want you to think about it as a kaleidoscope of opportunities, because in my mind, I am so overwhelmed by so many different choices of the things I could possibly do on the next step from education. So tonight, I'd like to go ahead and review some of those possibilities. One is, as the illustrious, famous, world-captivating speaker. Number 2, I'm also considered a dynamic writer, have written 2 or 3 or 4 different books. And there was the recent confirmation of that writing skills that I'd like to tell you about. And never too short, there is the ability to interview. And I love all of these things, figuring out which one, I don't know, maybe you can help me figure out by the end of the speech. So we talk about speaking. Many of you don't know, but there was an opportunity that came up a few weeks ago that I was a guest speaker for a group that Cynthia had referred me to that they needed a speaker. It was an open house and they had all sorts of guests. And if I could share what the note said that came in the mail, it was, Rosalind, you were such a captivating speaker. We had 4 people who decided they want to come back just because of the speech that you went ahead and gave. Or maybe it's the attention I get when I'm in the classroom as a substitute teacher reading to those kids in my little voice. And today we have a story of a person who comes to us in the story and they go, wow, you have such a nice British accent. So it doesn't matter whether you're 2 years old or 40 years old. They say, you are a speaker, Rosalind. How can you just turn that off? Well, then, of course, we come to the next set of skills, writing. I love to write. Sometimes I think I might be wasting my time sitting there all day long, but then the words just pour out one after the other, after the other, after the other. And by golly, I wrote this piece because I went to this stand-up comedy in Las Vegas, and it was humorous. As I walked out of the door, I kept on saying, "This is great. I love it. I love it. I'm going to tell the world they got to come back." And when I sat down and I wrote the piece and did all the reviewing, it took a day that time. It took a day to get all the things written and in the right place. And I shared it with a friend who was at the show, and he said, "That is so incredible. You should send it to the manager of the house who happens to own the casino. And maybe you could have you write a series." I'm like, wow, that'd be kind of cool. Writing a series for the Ahern, comedy, stand up live, that would be amazing. And the other day, I sent him a copy, hoping that I get that opportunity. And he said, you're a really dynamic writer. That was a great piece that you wrote on our place. And so I say, well, speaker, a writer, and then there's the third one, or there could be the 5th or the 17th or the 19th, but we're going to talk about interviewing. Now, there are many interviews I've gone ahead and done. I interviewed a guy who was the person who'd interviewed all the important people around the world. That was quite amazing. Then I interviewed a guy who was the Sri Lankan consulate general. And still to this day, he remembers that talk I gave. Or maybe it was the interview I did of Michael Jackson, where that was his number 2 person in line. And to this day, the guy who's the chief photographer for all the things that they do at the Valley Cultural Performing Arts Center, he says to me the other day, "Rosalind, you've really got a talent at those interviews. You are really amazing interviewers. I will even go ahead and write you a letter of recommendation so that you can get one of those jobs." And before I got on the meeting today, I was on the phone with a recruiting agency, and I told him what I did, and then he lit up and he said, "Oh my gosh, I used to be in film. I used to be in television. I can see your thing just like the other one." He said, "But, somehow we have to pick a skill set. We need to pull out and see how we can translate it. Maybe something in HR that you could interview people for candidates for jobs." And so, ladies and gentlemen, I've given you 3 of my, by far, things that I love that are deep passions. And prioritizing, is it the speaking? Is it the writing? Is it the interviewing? Every day I wake up and say, what in the world could it be? Should it be door number 1, door number 2, door number 3? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and most guests, I'd like to hear your response.
Wow. Now that was an ending. Thank you so much for that, Rosalind. Very motivating. You did a great job. Thank you. Can we have we will have 1 moment of silence on the clock. You can put something in the chat and the evaluators can get their evaluation together. Thank you. And our 1 minute is up. Well, now like to turn to our third evaluator, and that is Rosalind. And she will introduce our third speaker, who's Rosemary Sweeney. Rosalind, you have the mic.
Oh, thank you. I haven't had enough time to talk today, but give me some more. We have with us the amazing Rosemary Sweeney, who is an energetic, empathic, distinguished Toastmaster. Rosemary Valdes Sweeney is recently retired financial institution manager, currently as an entrepreneur and a financial coach at Sweeney's Consultancy. Sweeney is a dedicated community person and a chartered member of 6 Toastmaster clubs. She doesn't sit still, does she? She has served District 81 as the area director, as well as the Division C director. At present, she is president of Leaders Worldwide in District 57, vice president of public relations of One Country, One World, and an undistributed VPPR of Nature Isle Toastmasters Club in District Number 1. Increasingly, she has held all other the club officer positions since becoming a member of the IL Toastmasters Club in 2013. Sweeney has also served as various committees in her community and currently serves as a board member of the Junior Achievement Dominica and Junior Achievement Eastern Caribbean Financial Committee. She enjoys hiking and her hobbies include learning new things and dancing. And so tonight she's going to be giving us a speech. Her manual is effective body language. And let me get the title of her speech here for you. The title of her speech, she will go ahead and give to me. Because I can't
Try
do 10.
a little kindness.
I'm sorry?
Try a little kindness.
Try a little kindness. Love that. Try a little kindness. Let's give a warm round of applause to none other than the Miss Rosemary Sweeney.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rosalind. Have you ever read the newspaper lately? Many Commonwealth countries are removing laws about the same gender sex from their law books. Some time ago, in April 2024, the High Court in the Commonwealth of Dominica deemed that the 1873 law, which criminalized consensual sex between same-gender adults, infringed on the rights of these individuals. The finding opened a can of worms, and the floodgates of opinion, both for and against. Prophets of doom and gloom warned our nation that God will be angry and punish our people. And my thought was, why not try a little kindness? On the other hand, members of the LGBTQ were ecstatic. And one representative said, this is our first step on a long road to freedom. Again, my thoughts, why not try a little kindness? My take on the situation was, why should a tiny island like Dominica, only 289 square miles, try to segregate its people? Why should this type of laws be on our books? Instead, seeing that we are tiny, or whether we were so big, we should be encouraged to practice tolerance, understanding, and of course, a little kindness. Firstly, we should encourage each other to be tolerant of each other. We all have different opinions on certain matters. Being tolerant does not mean that you neglect your belief and take over the other person's belief, or you agree with every opinion of the others. However, it is recognizing the dignity and values of every individual, regardless or with the same perspective of the matter. Hence, instead of viewing diversity as a challenge, we should embrace it as a source of strength and be tolerant of each other. As I said, just try a little kindness. Next, we can consider understanding differences in individuals. This act is the cornerstone of respect. Taking time to understand one's culture, one's belief, one's perspective, we gain an understanding of the uniqueness as a human being. Additionally, understanding goes beyond being tolerant. It's about building a world where respect is not such lofty ideal, but a reality where everyone feels valued, accepted, and appreciated. For they are not what we would like them to be, but they are being themselves. And finally, kindness. Try a little kindness. There's a song that was written in 1979, 1969, sorry, which resonates with what the LGBTQ people faces today and is needed because some of us are just bashing them and wants them to be converted to our style instead of trying to understand. Why is this happening to them? Be tolerant. What have they gone through? As I always say, our fingers are all different sizes, different shapes, different lengths. But they are our fingers, and other people are our brothers. It may not be blood related, but for our world to go round, we need people of different orientations and different values. We should be just tolerant and be kind to these people. Let them know that there are people who are willing to accept them as they are. Try to see through their lenses. Probably they are looking at us as different. But when we come together, we understand each other. This goes a long way. And in times like this, we become entangled in a web of narrow-mindedness. And the song, Try a Little Kindness, reflects what it should be about. The song says, you've got to try a little kindness to overlook the blindness. Just shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, it will overlook the blindness of a narrow-minded people on a narrow-minded street. Madam Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you so much for that. My goodness. I will give 1 minute on the clock for any comments in the chat and for the evaluator to get her evaluation together. Our minute is up. We've gone from one job to many interviews and to doing all of that by using a little kindness. Our speeches have been great. Next up, we have Carrie Kelly, our table topics master, and we'll have time for 3 extemporaneous speeches. Carrie, the floor is yours.
Okay, fellow Toastmasters and such. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So our theme today is all about summer solstice. And we are talking about prioritizing things to maximize the extra daylight hours that we have. So I'm going to tell you about what I'm going to prioritize during the summer: going to the beach as much as possible before I leave California. That is one thing that I have got to prioritize. So I am going to start with volunteers. The first question for your table topics is, what would you like to prioritize in the next coming months for these extra daylight hours that we have?
I guess
Volunteer?
I can go. Alex.
Okay, go for it.
So when it comes to prioritizing with all this extra light, the one thing that I am been doing with my daughter is teaching her how to play lacrosse. And we've been doing this for, I want to say, since April. Just about every day we kind of throw and catch outside, and it's getting to the point where she's almost getting it, which is a wonderful thing. The problem is, as you well know, now that we have more time because the sun is out, we practice a little bit longer. So she gets a little frustrated. She only has so much of an egg timer on her that she can keep it together. That being said, the heat and the cold and being on the Northeast, if you don't like the temperature, just give it a second and you'll get the temperature that you want. So it's still kind of changing. We still haven't figured out, we're not full all in summer. But when it comes to the late light that we get, we like to be outside as much as we can. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
All right, prioritizing learning lacrosse. This is good. Okay, so the next category in table topics would be the longest day of the year. That is June 21st is the solstice day. So if you have to make plans for that longest day, what would be something that you're going to do on that day that you would only do on that day? Who wants to take that one?
I'll take that question.
Go for it.
June 21st is my birthday.
Ah!
So, what will I do? Well, what I generally do is, that's the longest day of the year, as they say. I spend most of my time with two of my very close friends who think that I should come and have our birthdays together. It's in Palm Springs. I don't know if I'm going to do it this year because it is so hot there in the middle of June that I am not so sure if I'm going to do it again. But I have, and if I don't do it, I just find something that I really, really love to do and go to a spa and have some wonderful body treatments, which I so seldom do. But I think this is what I am going to do on my birthday, June 21st, and just enjoy the longest day of the year. I think everyone should celebrate one's birthday. It's very important. I celebrate my friend's birthday. I celebrate everybody's birthday. And so I think it's an important day, and that's what I'm going to do on June 21st. Thank you.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. How cool is that? Being born on the solstice. Oh, how awesome. Okay. Last category. One of the things about summertime is that there are a lot of special things that happen only during the summer. The question for you is to pick one of those things that you enjoy that only happens during the summer. Who wants to take that one? Going once, going twice, or else I'm going to have to volunteer.
I will volunteer. Oh, oh, Rosalind, well, go ahead.
Rosalind, you have to unmute.
Okay, well, I was just putting my hand up there to let you know. Well, one of the exciting things I really love about the summer here in Los Angeles, and I'm sure, I hope it's in the rest of the world, is there's all these free summer entertainments. You can go to almost any part of the city, and the cities put on these wonderful musical groups that come from literally all over the world. I just had someone send me something from the mariachi band, and we could compare the playlist of each of us, and we'd probably come up with the same thing. But I remember last year when I went to the one at downtown, and there was the superintendent of education, and he said his plan for the kids was to give them a passport where they could go to the libraries, they could go to these educational enrichment activities to have a chance, because the one thing that's sadly dying in our world is the appreciation of the books, the arts, the music, and the entertainment. And so I'm so grateful that the powers that be in each city have come up with a way to finance this, that we can go out to listen to musicians, to hear the different sounds of different types of music, and make it something that we can all appreciate and enjoy. And I'm glad that we all share it in our communities that we live. As I saw heads nodding. Fantastic. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And this concludes the section for table topics. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
I tell you what, those responses were wonderful. I feel like I'm on a pair of roller skates, but yes, I won't volunteer to do this again, all right? Absolutely. I'm living everything that everybody was saying. And you know how I love table topics. I wanted to do one, but there's no way I could do all that I'm doing. Watch the timer. No, absolutely not. But the responses were great. And Judith, that was just on point. Who would know that that was your birthday? Happy early birthday to you. And at this moment, I will turn the meeting over to our general evaluator. And I know that this is unusual, but I would like to give the timeless report for what I have, Madam General Evaluator, and someone else will need to time the evaluators, okay?
Okay.
So what I have at this moment is on the first speaker, Karen Kelly, was 6 minutes and 10 seconds. Our second speaker, Rosalind Kahn, was 5 minutes and 43 seconds. And our third speaker, Rosemary Sweeney, was 5 minutes and 25 seconds. On our table topics, Alex was 1 minute and 27 seconds. Judith was 1 minute and 15 seconds. And Rosalind was 1 minute and 15 seconds. So everybody was within time and everything was phenomenal. I have to leave. This has been great. Thank you so much for allowing me to flip-flop back and forth.
You're welcome. And have an enjoyable meeting. So, Toastmaster DeMarie, she has to go to another meeting at this time. And I will call on our first evaluator, who is Toastmaster Rosemary Sweeney. Let us make her feel welcome as she evaluates Toastmaster's scary speech. One job. And you only have one job. The earth only has one. The air only has one. The fire only has one. So you get this from the source and you have one job. I can remember a long time ago, we used to be punished for not being able to multitask. And later on, we learned that there should be no multitasking. You focus on one thing. And this evening, Toastmaster Carrie told us that her focus and her heart's desire is to make sure that children are safe. And she will be doing that to the best of her ability. And if she does it like what she shows us, we know that the children who she come in contact with will be safe by any means necessary, because she will not be giving up. Toastmaster Kerry, thank you for that informational speech. And thank you for sharing with us and bringing across. Because when I heard the 4 elements, I know something of earth, wind, and I thought we were going to be hearing about science because earth, wind, water, fire, and then you made that connection so easy for me to understand that the earth has everything it needs. Our fire has this, and we too, from the source, what we have, we can do one job, focus on one job, and in my opinion, we should do it properly. You presented with a lot of visual aids. So if we could not understand what the earth was, you showed us that plant, and you made me realize that, yes, this plant has everything it needs to grow. And we need water. We also need air. But each of those individual things was self-contained and focused on the fire, focused on one thing. And everything came from the source. When it came together, it was dynamic. So we have the source, as you said, and the source makes everything happen. I also saw great hand gestures. When you mentioned something about feeling, you had your hand on your chest. When you were fanning for the air, I could feel your fan fanning me, because right now I'm very hot. We are 86 degrees Fahrenheit and going. And your tone, when you wanted to stress on something, you said, they are very strong. So I don't focus well. You had that modulation in your voice when you presented. What I would have liked was more focus. Like you were distracted with something going on below there, more so when you were resting down the props you had, and then at one point I was seeing you like your head bent, so more focus. But overall, I enjoyed your speech. And it came so, I know that speech where you are there for the children, but when you give that different dynamic to bring it across, I said, whoa, that made me remember Toastmaster Marie, who always speaks about that president and the lady saying, tell them what you were going to tell them, tell them what you're going to tell them. You all bring that so weave that story, and it is very good. Just focus on that, and your speech was very well presented. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I now hand over. At this time, I call on our second speech evaluator, who is Toastmaster Kerry, to present her evaluation. Let's make her feel welcome.
Okay, Rosalind, what a talent you are. What a talent you are. I am so impressed with the options that you presented that you need to choose from. I love to hear you speak. You always have the most fascinating stories to tell. And the people that you come in contact with are always these like dynamic people and folks that we know. It's like, and the way you're so down to earth when you talk about it. I don't see you fangirling out over the people that you had come in contact with. And that shows a certain level of professionalism and a certain level of taking your craft seriously. I like how you gave us the options as if you couldn't decide, and you asked for our opinion at the end. Nobody's going to give you that. You're going to have to make that choice, because we will not be held responsible for telling you which one to pick, and then you don't like it or it doesn't work out. We're not going to give it. You are not giving that to you. It's all on you. I think some vocal variety would be cool in that speech. Like if you mimic some of the, maybe not the tone, but maybe some of the inflections. How did people talk to you? Did they sound excited? You sound excited when you're telling us what they said. Did they sound kind of, deadpan? And it's like, wow, they were so deadpan about it. And then you show us the deadpan thing. So overall, the speech is great. I hope you can come up with which one you're going to pick, and that it's successful and that you get all the enjoyment out of it that you need to get. That's the conclusion of my evaluation for Rosalind. I just want to address one quick thing about what happened with my candle. I thought the candle went out, and I tilted it, and wax dripped on my hand right while I was talking, and it kind of burned. That's why I was distracted. I just was all the things that can go wrong while you're in the speech. This is what can happen. So, okay, I'm done.
Thank you so much. At this time, let us welcome our third evaluator, Toastmaster Rosalind.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmasters and everyone here tonight. I want to take this opportunity to evaluate Rosemary's speech on a couple of terms. I'm going to look specifically at the gestures you used. And Rosemary, I got to say, people say that I'm the crazy Italian. Look up here, Rosemary. Always going with my hands this way and that way and so on and so forth. And you have a few favorites. You tend to love to put your hands up here and go like this. And there's also another one that comes together just like this. Now, these are the ones that you repeated, but there were some ones that were absolutely over the top. I loved when you took out your hand and you said the hand is like the different people, the different personalities, and the different individuals that we go ahead and meet at different times and different places in our life. There was another one that was, you know, from the heart of what you truly felt. I know that you can do this because when you gave the evaluation of Carrie, you had different ones at different parts and different pieces. And so my challenge for you is to go back and watch yourself giving this speech and see those gestures that you go ahead and use and that you overuse. And if there was one time that you wanted to really bring your hands up like this and say, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. But it's really the coming together of bringing it all that I want to leave you all behind with. That is really what goes ahead and makes sense to us. Those were the things that I went ahead and listened to my overzealous attempt to prioritize how the gestures were the good, the bad, things that you can go ahead and improve on and work on the next time. It was a good message about how we go ahead and look at the way that the newspapers go ahead and generate this conversation over the LGBTQ. And I think you really brought it home to us. I don't know what's happening with the timing, but I think I'm going to be short and I'm going to leave you with those thoughts. And I think they'll give you wonderful words and pearls of wisdoms. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much for your evaluation of my gestures. Probably sometime I use too much hand gestures, and I am focused on having people see my hands because sometimes I do that. So I was trying to do that today. And at this time, let us call on our timer, Toastmaster Judith.
No, I am the grammarian. The timer has left.
Oh, the timer has left. So on the grammarian, yes, the timer.
It's a good thing I
Okay.
decided to end it when I did because I was waiting for the timer and the time never came.
No,
Okay.
no, the timer never came because she is not here. Okay, so prioritize were used mainly. Rosalind used that 3 times. I think some other people used that, DeMarie, and I'm not sure exactly whether Rosemary used it or not. Okay, as a grammarian, since we are not here all that many, Kelly had quite a few ends and so's here and there. And what I wanted to ask, so what are the 4 elements that Kelly used in her speech?
Can I answer? Because I was the evaluator, so I know.
Okay, so
She-
you know
she
the
used-
answer to that. Alex,
are
are
you
you
talking
in
about-
this club meeting?
I am, and I don't know.
You don't know, but you didn't pay
used-
attention to
I
this.
wasn't,
Okay.
not that I wasn't paying attention. I just,
You don't know. But if you
I don't know.
Okay.
She
well,
had
go
the
ahead.
elements of, she had the plant, she had the
We had earth,
candle, she had the fan.
Yeah.
we had wind, air.
Okay, no, let Rosalind do.
No,
So-
well, when Rosalind said the plant represented earth and the fan represented air.
Right.
Okay,
And the fire represented energy.
okay. And all of this, what was the fifth one? That
The fifth one was the source.
I need to finish this. Rosemary. Okay, all right. So I need to finish this and then you answer. This is how that works.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so we'll move on. Okay. What are the three things Rosalind likes doing?
Talking,
How about speaking?
speaking. Oh shoot. I just wasn't on my game today.
Okay. What else?
I don't remember. I'm awful today. I'm awful.
Nobody listens to
I
this.
know writing.
Okay, what else?
I cannot remember the food one. I know it was speaking, writing, and some other thing.
Interviewing people.
Yes, interviewing.
Yes.
Okay, and then one more question about Rosalind. Who was the two people she spoke about that she interviewed?
One was Michael Jackson.
And what's the other one?
She stole mine.
It was like a dignitary, like a prime minister or a president, or it was somebody with like
the consul general. The Sri Lankan consul general.
Yeah,
That's who that was. Yes. Okay. Rosemary. So what are the three things that Rosemary accentuated in her speech?
I was working on the gestures.
I know, but she said she actually spoke besides the gesture.
She spoke about the interpretations of the LGBTQ and how it
Three things she talked about it. That's important.
She had a beautiful voice singing.
All right. Well, we need to listen to a little more. How about tolerance, understanding, and kindness?
What was the first one?
Tolerance.
Tolerance, kindness, and
understanding and kindness.
Right.
And those were the things anyway. And I just want to say something, but DeMarie is not here. The summer solstice has nothing to do with an hour longer thing. It has to do with when the earth tilts toward the sun, and then the sun ends up in the highest position. And it stays there until when? December 21st.
Yeah, the winter solstice.
And then it comes the winter solstice when this all goes back, and we just have darker days, but it's not much to do with the hour changes. That's a whole other story. So Rosemary, you don't have to feel bad that you don't have an hour change, but you have summer solstice.
And we have summer year round.
So that's the summer solstice, and that's my report.
Thank you so much for adding that interesting aspect of questioning what we were listening to this evening to our meeting. At this time, I call our meeting to a close.